it's worth an infinite amount of money to fight for your marriage and fight for your future kids and your future with your spouse.
The world defines marriage as you run off into the sunset with your lover and you're with them because they're gonna make you happy forever. And it's all about what they can do for you.
Are you being driven by peace or passion?
Yeah.
A lot of times when we're being driven by passion, that is a fast burn.
Hey guys!
I'm Sarah.
I'm Caitlin.
And we are your best friends. With us today, we have the most amazing couple. Their names are
Caleb
and Cassidy.
Oh, here we are.
Caleb and Cassidy are married. They just got married, okay?
7 months ago.
7 months ago,
Yep.
They are young.
They are in love,
They got married fast.
which
Very
is why
fast.
they are on this video. We have some good stuff coming for y'all. I met Cass and Caleb our freshman year of college. We're all seniors now, although they graduated
early.
Yes, graduated early.
I am 21 and me and Caleb both graduated in December, so we're just like starting our lives together.
And I'm 23, so it took me longer.
Yeah, so we've known each other since freshman year, and then started dating the end of our junior year.
We knew each other for 3 years?
3 years.
3.5 years?
3 years, and here we are. You guys are married for 7 months.
Wild.
But the reason why we're even filming this video is because they have a really cool story with how they got married and stuff like that. And we want them to drop some newlywed wisdom for anyone who is not married yet, is single, and is feeling pressure to get married.
Or like the massive desire to just be married already.
To the point where you might settle and compromise on some really important qualities in a husband or wife just because...
Want to clap cheeks.
Caleb!
We are putting that in there. Clap cheeks.
Sorry.
That is so gross.
Sorry. You guys were literally saying everything but that, and I was like, why did you just say it?
Okay, thank you.
We want this video to be an encouragement and a reminder for you to not settle just on somebody that looks cool on your Instagram and they're fun and they're popular at school, but actually someone who has real godly character. So we're going to dig deep and we're going to ask them some fun questions and you're going to get some wisdom.
Before we have a quick little icebreaker question for y'all, what is something that you stink at?
Ooh.
Cassidy, you can go first.
Oh boy.
What is something you stink at, babe?
Wow.
First of all, holding my tongue. Sometimes I really suck at that for a while, but now I'm good at this snowboarding.
Nah.
now you're good at
Now I'm decent. Not good, but
cool.
decent. But it was
She can
super,
shred.
super frustrating because we
She
went
can shred the gnar.
We went to go snowboarding on our honeymoon and learn, which I don't always recommend. It was just hard because Caleb was really good at it at first and I wasn't, but that's something I did think at.
Okay, communication.
Sometimes. Not always.
Sometimes I'm not the greatest at that, but I've gotten better. I've come a long way.
Done better.
But as the marriage video...
Confrontation.
Oh yeah, that's probably a better one. Because I would just rather, not deal with it at all. Something I definitely need to get better at.
So, what were some of the reasons driving you guys to get married so soon? Wasn't your engagement period 6 months?
4.
4 months.
Like 3.5, not even 4. There's a few reasons. One of them, which me and Caleb will talk about, is a lot of people didn't know we knew each other for a long time. So we knew each other's morals and all that jazz, and we knew each other pretty well. So that's why we got married pretty fast and got engaged pretty fast, because we got engaged after 8 months of dating.
Yeah.
And then married 4 months after we got engaged, which honestly, I recommend a short engagement just because, why would you do a long engagement? I understand the planning process, but I'd say 5 to 9 months, not a year.
Oh, wow.
That just sounds miserable.
Yeah.
So I'm very glad we had a short engagement. Would I recommend 3.5 months? Probably not, because there's a little stressful.
That's a lot.
We thought about getting married in January, but then talking to my family and his family, I really just wanted it up north, a fall wedding. So basically his mom was just super awesome and was like, I think we could pull this off, because she does a ton of events. So that was one of the reasons, is just that was always my dream of doing it up north in the fall.
Yep.
Another reason was cost-wise. It was just honestly actually cheaper than what I thought I could do down in Florida in January, just with the venue and stuff. So that was one reason. They actually have a family friend who were super awesome and let us do it at their house, so that was cheaper. So it's more cost efficient. We wanted to get married sooner, And yeah, I always wanted to fall wedding.
For them to know, you guys did not have sex until marriage.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm
That's a
sure
good thing
We
to
didn't?
clarify.
Yeah, you
Just kidding.
long engagement is fine. That's just dandy for people who are not saving sex until
Themselves.
marriage
Right.
because there's no rush.
Right.
So that probably was one driver, but also that's just good context is you guys did not have sex until marriage.
I would say one of the main reasons that
We
we
got
got married quickly was because we both knew that we were like committed to each other, like fully committed to each other, and there wasn't like this wishy-washy like, oh, like I'm not sure, or like I'm not really ready, or like, oh,
Right.
I'm not financially stable. We weren't financially stable. We weren't like, I don't know.
What would
like,
you call financially
Yeah,
stable?
I don't know. What would you call?
Yeah.
I have $2,000. No, I
You
have
were willing.
$10,000.
Yeah.
We were willing and we were committed, and I think those were the two biggest things. And the fact that we are so committed to each other gets us through any obstacle that comes up.
Right.
I
Yeah.
would say, and it lets us know that like we're gonna keep fighting no matter what.
Yeah, and
For
that's so
marriage.
cool because like people make up so many excuses almost to not.
Oh
get
yeah, 100%. Yes.
And
Yes.
it's kind of true. Like you guys knew each other, even though you didn't like date for long. You knew each other's character, and you were committed. So all those little financial stuff and things like that could kind of be an excuse for some people. I think not for everyone. I'm not going to try everyone,
Right,
but that's
right.
just real. Like you were committed. You're getting into a covenant. Like what's going to stop you from taking down all these obstacles of like finances and things like that? Why not do it together?
And it's not that it's easy, but
Exactly.
definitely
Keyword,
worth
it's
it.
not
Yes.
easy, but your word that you said was you were both committed.
Yeah.
Keyword both.
Yeah.
If you are one person and the other person doesn't have the same mindset,
Get
well,
out.
you're screwed.
Yeah.
Because Caleb, the man, is saying they were both committed, both.
Right.
And you can't be the one who's ready, willing to get all the finances and stuff together with another one who's go with the flow. We got two people ready to make anything work.
Yep.
Right. 100%.
and want to get better at the things that
You suck
We're
at.
not
you
gonna-
suck at,
yeah.
like finances. I had never had a budget
There
before
you go.
Cassidy, so.
You were willing to learn.
It's
Yeah.
not
Awesome.
it's not perfection. It's like a willingness. that
Yeah,
you made
exactly.
up to get better. That's cool.
Yeah.
Can you guys give an example of an experience in marriage that really goes to show that the external doesn't matter in those moments? Like the superficial stuff, like what they look like on Instagram, how cute they are, how popular they are at school. Like, what are moments in marriage that you've seen that character matters?
I would say the first thing is like, especially for guys, you sit here and you think, oh, I just can't wait to have sex, and like sex is gonna be awesome, and like I can't wait, it's gonna be great, I can get sex all the time when I'm married. Okay, that's not 100% true. And the second thing is like, I would say like our love languages. Like my love language is like acts of service and physical touch and like kind of like words of
Which,
affirmation.
if people don't know what that is, it's basically like how you feel loved or how you
Yeah.
receive love.
How you
Yes.
receive
Yeah.
love. And the reality is of it is if you don't like receive those acts of service or whatever else, or like love languages, then the sex isn't fun. Like you don't necessarily want sex
If you don't
all
feel
the
loved.
time
Yeah.
if you don't feel loved.
Wow.
So the reality of it is what you think is like that connection of sex. It's not really fun when you don't feel loved. It's not just
That
like,
gave me goosebumps because that's so true.
yeah, it's not just a physical thing. It's so much more than that. Like the fact that Cassidy has character that strives to love me every single day. Like I got a text this morning about like some things that she like complimented me on, and that made me feel loved. And character coming through to ultimately mean everything.
Let's say Caleb didn't have good character and he didn't want to strive to be better, or even he didn't want to serve me. Like you in marriage, your job is to serve the other person, not yourself. So even when you're having sex, that's what you have to do. Because girls and guys are different with that. So like even if you were to marry someone without good character, the sex would suck anyway. Because it would just all be about yourself.
Low and
You
slow.
know, does that make
That's
sense? Because
Don't
the way
let that-
guys and girls work are different.
Yes.
In you guys' personal experience, what are 3 character qualities that you guys have seen in each other that have been the most helpful?
One thing Caleb is really good at is seeing the positive in things, where sometimes I just get so mad or so discouraged. I'm like, I don't know how we're gonna, like, I even did it when we were dating. I was like, I don't know how we're gonna do this. Like, how are we gonna do this? And I just get so frustrated.
And I just start laughing.
And Caleb will either start laughing, which sometimes is not the answer, but he'll start laughing, or he will just like look at the positives and be like, no, we are gonna get through this, and we are gonna do this, and this is how, and we're gonna start going to counseling, or we're gonna start like praying over each other every morning. Like, he just has these action plans, which is, I think, huge for a marriage to get better. So that, like, he's just very positive, takes action, I guess is the second one, to better ourselves. Yeah, because a lot of people, I think, know they have issues, but they won't take action to solve them. And I think, honestly, it's been cool learning how to do that early in our marriage, so we, like, you know, get better for the future. And then probably the third thing is Caleb is like the best listener in the world. It is shocking because I've grown up with boys my whole life, and Caleb listens so well. So it's very nice. A lot of times I feel heard, I feel valued and understood because he's a great listener.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah.
Like finances. This is seriously, because like I never had a budget. I would spend my last dollar on the last ounce of jet ski gas, even if it meant I had no money in my bank account. Or the last ounce of fun, or like the last McChicken at McDonald's. It didn't matter. It did not matter.
Wow.
But now, like, I have Cassidy, and that has all changed. And there's a total, like, understanding of what that means and how important it is now to get that figured out, rather than, like, you know, 20 years into our marriage. And then I would say another thing is that she constantly encourages me, like, when I feel down, or like when I feel like I really don't know my purpose, or I really don't know where I'm going in life. Her encouragement is like an act of service towards me that is like words driven, I would say. And then the last thing I would say is her like ability to make me better and like call me out, because there'll be times where, like we talked about before, I hate confrontation, where I will be avoiding the confrontation and she'll call me out and be like, listen, all you have to say is this. All you have to do is tell me that, you know, everything's going to be okay, and like we're going to deal with this confrontation and get through it and get better.
Does life go right back to normal after the wedding? Is your life magical and all of your problems fixed all of a sudden when you get married? Like, is that the answer? Is that the solution to your insecurities, your problems, and your pain? Please let us know.
Oh, for sure.
A big fat no.
Yes. Yes.
Please, because then I'm getting married tomorrow.
Me and Caleb are very, like, opposite in some ways. So I would say, like, we have such good times and fun together, but I don't even know if we really felt a magical period. What do you say? I think some couples do.
I think
they're in, like, the honeymoon phase or whatever.
Yeah.
But we just got hit with life really fast. So I think we just have fun together, but we definitely, like, life goes back to normal in a sense, but it's also unnormal because you have this person that you're committed to, and you have to serve, and you have to tell them where you're going.
Oh,
where
so
you're
responsibility.
A ton of, so instead of life going back to normal, it's just responsibility. But it's so worth it because you have this partner for life that is there to help you and love you and serve you and get you through the hard times in life, because no one wants to do that alone. Yeah. And if you do, I mean, kudos to you, but most people don't.
Yeah.
So I would say life goes back to normal. It's a different normal. Like, I mean, yeah, sometimes you still see the same friends or do the same job or do the same things, like your favorite hobbies, but then you also have this added person in your life that you get to live life with, which is really fun and really great.
Yeah.
But it also can be really hard because you do have to put them first. Instead of it being all about me all the time, you have to put that person first now. Yeah. And it can be hard.
I would say it definitely is not like this magical thing that solves all your problems. No. If it were, like, I don't think we would really need God or like really need anything like else at all, because like we would just have each other. But the reality of it is like, the only person that's going to fill our insecurities, the only person that's going to make us complete is God. It's not her, it's not me that make each other complete. We can help each other get there, and we do, and that's the beauty of marriage. I told Cassie this like the first, I don't know, 2 weeks into our marriage, I was like, it's hilarious because every single selfish part of me is like completely exposed and has to be like changed. And like we then Cassidy goes, well, I think that's why God made marriage.
Yes.
And that's literally the reality of it is
to
like,
make us better people.
Yeah, and Christ was the most selfless person on this planet, and the fact that us two coming together as one is making each other more and more selfless is the reason.
Marriage is a refining fire.
Oh,
It purifies you and the fire burns.
Yeah.
In the most beautiful way.
100%.
Yeah.
So
it's not easy. It's not like all glamorous.
Yeah.
And marriage is so great, but to the girls that are struggling being single, also enjoy your singleness. Like, have fun. Go hang out for your
Cassidy
girls.
reminisce.
I reminisce sometimes. Girl,
what it was like.
Stop.
What was 8 months ago?
That was 8 months of your life. No, but seriously, take this time to grow and figure out who you really are. Yeah, and dream.
The big takeaway from this question, which is just so important, is if someone is getting into marriage because they're wondering if it's going to fix their problems or it is going to be magical or it is going to make life better, it's because they're missing the point of marriage.
100%.
And that's so important that you guys said, like, the point of marriage is actually to make you more selfless. The world defines marriage as you run off into the sunset with your lover and you're with them because they're going to make you happy forever. And it's all about what they can do for you. And if you don't get the point of marriage, which you won't, if you don't, honestly, the world doesn't get the point of marriage.
They don't.
The point of marriage is actually just, it's not about your own happiness. It can be a benefit, but it's not. And I just think that's just so cool.
Marriage has an ultimate goal. Like, every healthy marriage has a goal, and that's to glorify Christ, to be refined, and to love the ones around them, to lay down their lives for each other and for their children, and to glorify God.
Yep.
Anything outside of that, which outside of that is the not having to do with the will of God. God's will was for marriage to be that beautiful refining fire. Anything outside of that, which is what the world and Hollywood portrays, it will always fail because God designed it so He knows the best way in which it works.
What is something that you guys did during your dating or engagement period that you're grateful now that you didn't?
That we did it?
Yeah.
And I don't want to focus on sex so much, but honestly, saving ourselves was a big gift, I think, because sometimes when you do have sex, which of course there's so much grace. God gives so much grace.
Only grace.
And I think it's just really cool how God can use you if that has happened or whatnot. But I think for us it was cool because it's just funny, even the little things we did outside from each other in relationships that weren't sex, but they were like borderline or whatever, that affect us even then. So even imagining Caleb having sex with another girl would be so hard for me. Or even like us having sex before marriage, because it just, I think it's like a level of trust almost. Like if he had sex with me outside of marriage, is he going to have sex with someone else outside of our marriage? Like, I don't know. I think it's a trust factor, would you say?
Yeah.
Also, one thing that we did before we got married is we, like, honestly talked to a lot of people, I think, about marriage, which was really cool. Like, we talked to our parents about what they thought and, like, just talking to them and being real. Like, we want to get married and all this stuff. And I think seeking counsel was super important. It prepared us in a lot of ways, although I feel like you never understand marriage until you get into it. But I still think it prepared us in a lot of ways, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I would say the two biggest things, like Cassidy said, were saving ourselves for marriage. And the second thing was getting good marriage counseling. Not just like you go out for dinner one night, they talk about marriage,
which
and then
is
you
great,
go back.
But I think you also
That's
need
awesome. That's healthy
a professional.
for when you're honestly, I think for when you're married or after you've gone through legitimate counseling. Like Cassidy and I took this entire assessment that basically like said like,
showed our strengths and
weaknesses. I'm 10,000 more times assertive than Cassidy is, or dominant, or whatever it is. For all these things, so it's like, okay, how are we gonna like level this out to where each other is heard and like each other know what each other value, all those kinds of things. And then we talk about family, because like you don't just marry like Cassidy. I don't just marry Cassidy, I marry her family as well. She marries my family as well. Those are two major things that we definitely
are happy we did.
Yeah.
If you're watching this and you're feeling any sadness, let's say you're in a relationship and you don't have couples or any mentors available, or you felt convicted or sad because you're not at any levels that, let's say, they're speaking about, just any sadness, want to let you know that all of our lives are imperfect. Like we all didn't or did have things and have done things or didn't do things that we should have. And the only answer to that is prayer. God, any pain or sadness that we have, let it draw you to God. Let it draw you to prayer. If you need more friends in your life to witness your relationship, pray to the Lord for friends. Any lack is something that God wants to pull you in with so that he can fulfill. So definitely don't feel comparison creep in or anything. We are just 4 chill, very regular human beings sitting on a couch talking about this.
Yeah.
But we all have to, at the end of the day, go in prayer and just ask God to help us, because in my life, anytime I felt sadness or comparison creep in after a video, I just had to pray. And that's all you can do, and accept the grace, like you said, that the Lord gives. Because it is not about being perfect. It is about loving Christ and asking him to help you out with your weaknesses. He is our strength when we are weak, in our weakness.
For those people who are out there that, like, let's say you are a young newlywed couple and like you are struggling right now, like, please go out and fight for your marriage, whoever it is, the male or the female. If you're going to only stay married a year or 2 years or 3 years or whatever it is, then in my mind, I mean, first of all, you just didn't get your money's worth. And second of all, like, you have to fight for your marriage because it's the most important thing, most important choice that you ever chose. So
besides accepting Jesus.
Yeah, besides, of course. But you might have to get counseling. You might have to go out and seek help, or ask friends, or seek pastors' help, or seek advice, or who knows, even maybe a real therapist. But it's worth it.
Yes.
It's worth an intensive. It's worth $1,000. It's worth an infinite amount of money to fight for your marriage and fight for your future kids and your future with your spouse.
Is sex worth the heartbreak / struggle of marriage?
I would just echo what I said before, like, literally, if you don't feel loved by the other person, the sex is not...
You're not going to have sex if you don't feel loved.
Yeah.
You're not even going to want it.
Yeah. I mean, all the tingly feelings are not there unless you show each other love in the ways that you feel loved. So, yeah, no, it's just not.
So if you're rushing into marriage because of sex,
Rush out.
pray, think about it.
Yeah.
Talk to someone.
Yes, and I've said on the channel, are you being driven by peace or passion?
Yeah.
A lot of times when we're being driven by passion, that is a fast burn. And that is so sad if you were driven by passion to get to the altar, and then life slows down again, and who are you looking to your left with? You want to be driven by peace, the peace of the Lord, that all these things are adding up, that this person actually is an extension of God's peace, that if God's peace was here, they actually would be another version of that peace. So just want to send you with that as well. That's very helpful.
Thank you so much, Caleb and Cassie, for being here with us. That pretty much wraps it up. You guys dropped some awesome wisdom.
Yes.
I hope every single Christian engaged couple watches this video.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was so good. So just thank you guys for being here.
Yes.
And we're going to wrap it up from here.
Do not forget to like and subscribe. I think we're almost about to hit 1,000 subscribers. So we're really grateful for every subscriber. And we just love you guys so much. And we keep it real here. All we do is share experiences and keep it real. Because this world needs more believers who just speak up about their experiences rather than their perfection.
Yeah,
So,
that's good.
yep. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.